Hello, Cedric and CJ here, CR Wrestling Commentary, and we got to talk about something here about, I spoke earlier, a while ago about Jonathan Gresham and the backstage thing and whatnot. All right. But then Jim Cornette chimes in on it. Luckily, we're small red potatoes here. So he will never hear us. And if he did, he would just disagree because he has to. I mean, reasons. But Cornette, the first thing he did was jump on the fact that Gresham should have lost because he's small. Now, when you look at Gresham against Claudio Castagnoli, you can say, look, yeah, we know who should win this fight. Just going on that alone, you can say, look, we know who should win this because Gresham is, diminutive in size compared. We get that. However, for those like us who have watched Jonathan Gresham for a very long time and has seen his capabilities in the ring against much larger opponents, we've seen how Gresham can break somebody down and then destroy a leg or an arm. We've seen it. It's pro wrestling, right? So many times Jim Cornette talked about smaller people beating larger people, but they made it look good. On paper it would look terrible. You look at the two and it's terrible, but when you see how they performed in the ring, it came out nice. But no, he can't do that for this. And something else I want to bring up, because Cedric got stuff to say, and I got other stuff to say, but about his size and the fact that he lost to Claudio. Listen, the first thing I need to do is make sure that I'm not on some weak-minded John Gresham fanboy tip mess. All right? I love some Jonathan Gresham. I do. And I got to make sure I'm not tribalizing it and whatnot. So if I never knew Jonathan Gresham, I would have wondered, how did he get that Ring of Honor title and he's going to last more than 30 seconds with this other dude? That's where I would have been. All right? But let's compare and contrast of him talking about this, but not anyone else. He had no problem with Sammy Guevara beating Miro. He had no problem with that. Or Darby Allin beating damn near anybody. He has no problem with that. He has no problem on size and whatnot when Adam Cole defeats somebody much larger than him. So I wonder what the real deal is. That's what I'd like to know. Because if you want to go on size, Miro should never have lost a match. Never. Okay? Powerhouse Hobbs should not be defeated by Miro and should never lose a match unless it might be to Claudio. Might. But going on Claudio's, his tenure in wrestling in general, what he's learned, his style, his conditioning, I can see Powerhouse Hobbs losing 2 out of 3. I mean, easy against him. I can see Miro probably about the same. And then they learn, they get better, and then it's equal. And, and then it comes down to dirty-handed brass tactics or cunning, whatnot. I can see that. Okay? So I'm going to let Cedra say her piece before I say anything else, because I can keep going with compare and contrast on other stuff Cornette said. But go ahead, girl.
So, Jonathan Gresham knows that he's small. Okay? He's been small his entire life. So if you're going to be small and you're going to be in any kind of combat sport, you're going to have to be a smarter fighter than bigger fighters. Okay? Even if it was a street fight, he's small. Claudio knuckle up, ready to fight. He dip in, punch him in the nuts. Fight's over. Because he's fought smarter. Okay? So anybody who saw Gresham the first time is like, damn, this is a small dude in wrestling. And then you shut your pie hole and you watch and see what he can do.
Yeah, no one had a problem with Rey Mysterio Jr. defeating Batista.
Yeah, really. Nobody had a problem with that shit. But Jim Cornette, once again, he is pigeonholed where the money is for him. So he can't be bothered to watch someone else's, the work they've done elsewhere, to be able to make a decision. For Jim is like, damn, I don't like Bojangles fried chicken. I don't like any fried chicken. That's how he treats it. And it's bullshit. Okay? 2, there's a certain way that you treat people. Okay? Obviously, Tony Khan signed him. It does not make any sense to sign someone who is holding a championship for the company you just bought and then have no communication with them about how that championship and the employee you just signed is going to be treated thus far. That's bullshit. That's why companies have high turnover now, because people don't know how to treat people. It's utterly disrespectful. Okay? Yeah, he's not going to do shit with Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor does have a fan base, and so does Jonathan Gresham. He's been wrestling for a long time. He ain't some fresh fish bleeding out his head from the indie circuit. He's accomplished. He carried Ring of Honor on his back for a year. Him and the Briscoes did. That was it. Him and the Briscoes carried Ring of Honor, which was obviously dying then, on their back for a year at least. It's disrespectful what Tony Khan did, and he needed to get cussed out. He didn't hear it because he's rich and thick-headed, but he should have got cussed out.
He should have got knocked the fuck out.
It's fucking disrespectful. You know, he should not going to treat Orange Cassidy that way.
Uh-huh.
Let me keep my metaphors to myself. But he's not going to treat Orange Cassidy that way, and Orange Cassidy cannot even put the sole on the boot that Jonathan Gresham puts on. That's how much he sucks.
So Jonathan Gresham, you're going to make the Orange Cassidy fans angry with that.
And the way Jim Cornette is acting, he wants to be walking around, well, you know, I'm not CM Punk, so I suck. You can just piss on my head and I'll call it rain. What kind of shit is that?
And that is legitimately how Cornette has been talking about people. If you are not Danielson, if you are not Punk, then you are meaningless. And that is so toxic and messed up. That is the very thing that if anybody wants to rail against Cornette, they should be railing against. Or you could be not the best minded person to say, since I like Danielson and Punk, when Cornette made those comparisons, I agree. It's like, no, you got to take it beyond. You got to kill that fan base, that fanboy, that fangirl mindset and just say, wait a minute. What about those that work hard, got their skill down, safe in the ring, can put on great quality matches, can call it in the ring if need be, and they are meaningless because they are not Punk or Danielson, and now we can add Claudio? We can do that now? That's not right. That's not fair. It's not. Cornette also, all right, talk about Gresham and how he should, okay, he said he should be pissed at how he was handled. And then said, well, you know, since
he ain't nobody, he shouldn't be mad.
Yep, he's nobody. He's getting, it's like, you know what? You, Cornette, haven't watched Gresham. So you don't know about Gresham. Therefore, you don't know how the fans like and or love him. So you think since you don't know him, no one knows him. And that is way too damn narcissistic.
Yeah,
that's how messed up that is.
That's Cornette's biggest problem. If it don't come on the boob tube in America, then I don't give a shit.
Cornette has a lot of wisdom that needs to be listened to, but he has those few pieces of him where he needs to be shot in the damn head.
He's so thick-headed.
Not saying anyone needs to go do that. Don't do that, but just...
He's so thick-headed you couldn't crack it with a sledgehammer, man. It's infuriating.
It is. It's very infuriating. And here's the thing. Cornette talked about Gresham and needing to know stuff and not know stuff, all this, and then say stuff like he's not thinking about how it should be in this business. You cannot, it was the PW Insider argument that Gresham allegedly made that he's in the top 500, or he's ranked high in it, so he should be treated better. It's an argument, not saying, hey, based on this alone, I'm great. Nope. it's an argument because he's dealing with somebody that does go on that stuff. And at the same time, he's going to talk about Gresham like, yeah, he doesn't, know what makes this business go. Hey, I think somebody also needs to let Cornette know, yeah, we know how the business was in your day. And truthfully, by and large, it was the right way to go about doing how wrestling should be presented. Yes, absolutely. It's got its messed up parts.
Yeah, because most of the wrestlers got treated like pure shit.
Yes.
That's
what I said, by and large. But then you conflate your day with today, and that's why you are wrong. How does business work? The business don't work the way it did back in the 80s and up until about 97. It don't work that way. It stopped. And Cornette has said it. He has profused that mess so much into our ears about how it's not ran the same, it don't work the same. But then he'll say some shit like this against Gresham and certain others, and then say they don't know how the business is run. You don't know. If you knew, you'd be like, damn, I remember how it used to be, and it was better with some issues, but it was better. This right here, Cornette is absolutely fucked up in the head. This man, I can understand where he's coming from. Okay, I get it. I understand where Cornette is coming from. I get it. He's from the days it was and it was very prevalent in the WWF and then WWF. It's a big man sport. But here's the thing. I remember a small Ricky Morton having a title match against a much larger Ric Flair. I remember that. I remember seeing Brian Pillman go against a much larger Lex Luger. Just saying. When it comes to height, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio Jr., how many people they went against that was much larger than them? And they won.
And think about this. Martinez defended the ROH Women's Championships like 10 times or close to it since she got to AEW. Okay? Yep. Samoa Joe wins the television title. He's got a whole damn storyline leading up to his title match. Okay? The ROH tag team titles. They got a whole story time. They got beef between the Briscoes and FTR, which was rather epic.
And mainly on Twitter, though.
All kinds of shit. Twitter's where they live. All kinds of shit with these other belts. But the the Pure Champion. You had the Pure Champion transfer over to Wheeler. Wheeler's been defending it. He's at least been wrestling and been seen.
He's also with Regal.
I know that. I understand that too. But the ROH heavyweight champion, the flagship belt, and you do nothing? Nothing. You don't even talk to the man who's holding it. What kind of bullshit is that? What's the underlying thing here? What's the problem?
What's the common denominator? What's different about Gresham than everybody else? See, that's the scary part. That's what's scary. And no, yeah, we know what Khan said in the past, I'm a minority. It's like, no, let me tell y'all something. You're going to hate hearing this about people like Tony Khan and some others when they get money. They're no longer a minority.
Nope.
It's capitalism. Yeah, all right. If you want change in any company or by any measure, you got to make sure, one, that they're going to make money with that change. Or if they don't change, they're going to lose a hell of a lot of money. That is how you get things done. Tony Khan can be the minority he says he want to be, but now he's got money. He's got a company. He's feeling his oats, and you know what? He starts making business decisions. Who's important to talk to? Who's not? Who can I see and not see with my eyes. And he goes into that route. And certain people just don't get looked at for some reason.
We already know he don't like big wrestlers.
Because every big wrestler gets jacked up. They get messed up or moved over.
And moved to the mid-card into obscurity on dark or dark elevation.
Yep. So, here's the thing. I am not calling Tony Khan a racist. If you think that, then you dumb as shit. No. It's business. That's what it's business. It's, I have a different outlook. And I'm going to tell you right now, he probably don't even know he got it. He probably don't even know he got it. But this is, when it comes to this mindset, it's deep. And I really don't want to go over here because I want to keep it strictly wrestling. But it's deep. And it's so deep, people won't even know when they're doing it. Have no idea of the words they say or their inactions showing who they are, that they're not thinking about. They're like, I'm not that person, but you've done these things. I did, but I mean, that's not me. And it's like, why are you doing them?
And I also have to consider the company he keeps. That MAGA company that he keeps.
Yeah, that MAGA company. Yep. MAGA, Magay. I don't know. Definitely want to say it. I've heard it many ways. So keep that in mind. And it also might be that, I'm going to be honest with you, it could be none of what I said. It could be this. When Gresham is just somebody that got a title, he's on the back burner. And then he gets Claudio, he makes the deal, then he says, okay, I told you I'll make you a world champion. Because Punk happened, it can't be that. Because he probably had that in mind. Claudio and Punk meeting up at a major pay-per-view and Claudio winning. But he was probably like, you know what? Ring of Honor, got it. World champion there. Gresham got it. I can take it off Gresham and give it to Claudio. People will love that. That'll boost ratings. That'll get asses in seats. Claudio is Ring of Honor champion, and then that way I'll be able to know exactly what I can do with Ring of Honor and where I can place it and how I'm going to have people on it. And it's probably all of that stuff. And he probably never gave Gresham a thought because he was thinking business, thinking I got this new toy from WWE and I can't wait to use him. And he won't be happy if I don't make him a champion. So I'm going to give him this title that he felt denied all those years ago. So here we go. And it probably got nothing to do with race. It's that simple. Just shiny new toy, get it a belt, move on. Gresham is just in the back burner, and he probably had other things for Gresham. Now, Jim Cornette wanted to touch on the fans being like, with Gresham. Yeah, too bad you're too dumb at this stage, Cornette, to honestly think about why the fans were like, with Gresham. Because Gresham come out at any other given stage, and the fans pop like crazy for him. On Dark and, on AEW, the one time I think we saw him. Loved him. Until he did what? He turned heel. Crowd didn't like that.
Nope.
No one liked it. When he turned heel, they didn't really boo him either. It was confusion. What are you doing?
What are you doing? This don't make any
Why?
sense.
Gresham, in that argument, he was angry. He didn't want to be heel. He wanted to be a baby face. Because he knew better. But you didn't want to bring that up. You and Brian Last didn't want to bring that up. Gresham wanted to be a baby face. And so when Gresham comes out, he's not even with Tully Blanchard. He's with his other dude. And so he's mad.
So he was assigned, obviously.
Yeah. They just take this guy.
Because I know I was really confused. Like, what is this dude doing out there with him?
Yeah.
And dude's trying to talk to him and he's soundly ignoring him.
Because there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. And the crowd ain't going to respond to Gresham because they're like, dude, why did you do the heel thing? They're stuck at that. They still can't figure that out. What are you, Gresham? Are you a heel? Or are you just mad at dude? We don't know. There's no promo. There's no vignettes leading up.
No explanation.
We got nothing. So the crowd is quiet. Or a little, boo. Yay, it's you. And that's where they are. That's where they are. Gresham goes out, does the job, loses loses. He didn't even put up the fight he should have. I went over that in the last one I did. Well, when I talked about Death Before Dishonor. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And then finding out, listening to Last and Cornette. Last did his digging and stuff. And yeah, Gresham is like, look, I'm done. That's what it seems like. For the foreseeable future, I am done. I am not going to be, terminus and all this other stuff. Nope. Might be hanging it up. Because here's what, and Cornette should know this. God damn it. Cornette should know this. He talked about how you can ruin somebody and then they got to be gone for several months until everyone forget about that sumbitch, and then that person come back as a new persona or something, and then they can get going. For me, personally, my wrestler, Ecuador, I sent him to someone I thought would be a good buddy, a good friend, and they fucked him. Made him look stupid, weak, sports entertainment crap that made no sense. So then I had to get him out of there after months of him looking like a fool. And then I had to rewire him a little bit and give it several months before I put him on my show to get the shit off of him. I had to do that. And then my wrestler can blossom. That's how that went. And then again, more recently, I have a female wrestler. Work on her for months on end with somebody because I can't run the program. He finally gets her on the show, didn't do everything he needed to do, and she gets annihilated and squashed in a major tournament. Now, I got to bring her here, but I can't use her. I got to get that shit off of her because everyone's going to be looking and say, wow, she got annihilated. You mean that weak one? That yada yada? I got to get that off of her. I can't even use her now. I got to wait. So Gresham, Ring of Honor, World Heavyweight Champion, signed to AEW Ring of Honor. Don't get spoken of. No promos, no nothing. Ignored, not spoken to. Come out, do good the very scant few times you see him. Then come out, turn heel. What? And now, last second thing you're going to learn, you losing that belt. Mm-hmm. The one that you carried for a year. The one that you represented, as CJ was talking about, Ring of Honor with the Briscoes for a year. You're going to drop that belt. And if you think this dude was ignored before, now he doesn't even have a belt. And Tony Khan is like, I got a bigger picture for you. Gresham,
it'd be nice if you told me about it.
It's public. The world has seen. How you get that stink off you?
You have to do what Jeff Cobb did.
What Jeff Cobb do?
He left, just like you said.
Oh, just left AEW? Just left
AEW. Went to a whole new company. Went back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Completely reinvented himself.
And yep. Gresham is short, but that's a big dude. You look, I'm 5'11 and a half. Gresham probably come up to my chest or something. He might even come just to my navel. I don't give a fuck. I wouldn't fuck with that dude. Mm-hmm. That dude got some talents that I don't need to learn about. It's just that simple. Cornette should know that somebody's got to get that off of him. And he ignored it. That's where he fucked up the most. Actually, he just fucked up everywhere, really. Gresham is a hell of a worker, a hell of a talent. He's a spot-on technical wrestler. He is extremely safe in that ring. He protects his opponent. He protects himself. He puts on a stellar match. He knows how to get people over. But Cornette don't know that. So he's not going to speak on it.
He's too busy stuck trying to watch his damn TV.
So, for me, I got nothing else to say. Y'all can be mad at me over this. I'll be honest with you. There's nothing that anyone can say that's going to make everybody happy. Because there's people that hate puppies and dogs in general or pets. So if I say I like puppies, I done pissed them off. And if I say I like cats, then I might get their favor, but then there are people that hate cats. I could say I like breathing, but then someone's like, this nasty air, you suck. I'm like, hold your breath then. So, yeah, this is just how I feel about the situation. And it's not so much Cornette coming down on Jonathan Gresham. It's how he's coming down on Jonathan Gresham that contradicts Jim Cornette himself. And not giving somebody an actual fair shake. You don't comment or criticize on somebody you know nothing about. You can talk about what you just saw at that, but you can't do what Cornette did and just say, Gresham don't know. Basically, he said Gresham don't know the business. Gresham don't know how to work. He was like, he's a great technical. He's a decent to good technical wrestler. And that's about it. And he complimented the German suplex. Said Carl Gotch would be happy with him. That's about it. That's the only compliment he gave Gresham. And he did side on with Gresham on, how he was utilized or lack thereof and ignored, and then dropped the title last second notice, how he'd be pissed too. Yes. And then he just rubbed shit all over that, saying, well, he should just realize, you know what? I've got nothing, but since I'm not Punk or Danielson, I'm nobody. I should be happy with the little paycheck that I get. God damn it. God damn it. Just, I would say be better than this, Cornette, but one, he'll never hear it. And if he did, him and Brian Last elitism would be like, well, he doesn't have any viewers really, and no one's listening to his podcast, so why should we listen to anything he say? In other words, I spit that truth and y'all can't handle it, and that's why you say shit like that. And that's the truth. So with that said, this has been Cedric and Cedric for CR Wrestling Commentary. Thank y'all for listening. Stay safe. Love some wrestling. See you next time.